Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why it's not doing the same as what it did last time. We're coming live. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're live. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why it's not doing the same as what it did last time. Yep, we're live. So we're live with some, yeah. Hello everybody, welcome to FPV, yay! We can hear each other again. Alright guys, so it's been about a month since we've been here last time. And today we're going to be talking all things FPV related. Obviously we've got some stuff on the... we're going to be doing the WhatsApp group highlights and we'll talk about, I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. So we've got people like Gerard and BuZZarD and Scratch. Welcome back, welcome here. Welcome Nerdbird. Alright, so we've been away for a while. We've been doing like some really cool stuff. I think
trying to be cool.
Yeah, we're trying to be cool. We're trying to get out there and do things that you know, that FPV is supposed to.
Right, so we've been
this time. Let's talk about that. I think we sort of. I think that's.
Why not?
About that. All right, cool. So
get out there and do things that
Toby, maybe you want to introduce it while I try and find some cool footage.
FPV supposed to. Okay, so we won't call them by name as per request, but so we were contacted by Supercar Lifestyle. So what these guys do is they organise fancy events for guys who own supercars. They come and spend a couple of days, couple of road trips in a hotel, and they go and they have the time of their life, and they asked us to come and film this. So yeah, we spent pretty much Thursday through Sunday in supercars, around supercars, filming these things, getting to know these people, and just getting busy. What a mind blow. And come and spend a couple of days.
Yeah.
Your first experience?
Oh, it was amazing. A little bit nervous and scared, like to fly over the supercars at first, but yeah, once the first day was done and we sort of knew what we were expecting, on like 80%, there was still that 20% that was unknown, but sort of understood how the weekend was going to go. Then yeah, it made it much easier, and then it was just all about getting the shot, because yeah, we only had like one try. So yeah, it's for me it was just pretty much focusing on getting the shots required. Yeah.
No, it was crazy, because if anyone knows FPV Nomads or this little trios, we love to keep everything on the edge. And when I say keep it on the edge, I don't mean plan it a month before and be ready. I'm saying the night before, we're still building the quad we're going to fly through this job.
Yeah, but that was the thing. It was like one of those situations where, never having done this before, we're kind of all trying to figure out like what the heck's going on here and what are the emotions. Because when you're shooting a situation like that, we normally are looking for like a wedding, you know.
Yeah.
At this time, this guy's going to walk down the aisle. At this time, that guy's going, and then they're going to throw the flowers, and then they're going. So it's all pretty predictable, and you can kind of look at the prediction of it. But then what happens is we get to this thing and we have no clue what's happening. We don't know who's coming when, and I think the one situation that really freaked us out was when we were prepping for the one arrival, and they WhatsApped us and said, we're going to be there in 15 minutes. So we're like, okay, cool. Not realizing that they're driving supercars. And a supercar 15 minutes is a real life 5 minutes.
I remember that, yeah.
Now I remember your face, because we were standing, it was at the arrival at the hotel, so they were going to come into Clarence from behind the mountain. And you picked up your phone and you checked the message and they said, oh no, we're 15 minutes out. And you put your phone down and I was like, cool, let me get a battery ready. And here they came. And it was that close.
It was like minutes.
And that's it, they're there.
And then they were gone. Yeah,
and then they were gone. So we had to learn the pace that these guys move at. It's insane.
Okay, so let's have a quick check at the video. I'm just trying to pull it out here if I can.
Because something to remember as well with this trip is the trip wasn't planned around being full. The trip was planned around being supercar driver at his event.
Yeah.
The camera crew was extra. So at no points really were we able to stop the guys and say, this is how you're going to do it, wait there. We weren't ready, we missed the shot and we got the cut for it. And that happened.
Yeah.
We've got lots to show you.
The footage that never made it.
I'm just going to disappear here.
Sound fixed.
That happened.
You are welcome to Mandoha Chadin Clearance. Thank you very much. You must enjoy your stay.
Okay, so yeah, we put on the seat.
Shout to Supercar Lifestyles for this amazing trip. This little weapon archer has been insane. Really appreciate it, boys. Keep doing it. Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you, Supercar Lifestyle, for an amazing weekend.
Yeah, we're having fun. I think it's good to have all the boys together again.
And I think my favorite part is tomorrow, Lesotho Katsi Dam, awesome trip. Welcome to the challenge of the trip. We're going to be going into Lesotho. And don't think that anything that I'm telling you right now is frivolous. What I'm telling you has happened to us at one point or another in these trips that we've done. Let's go and have a talk.
So guys, probably this is straight over the video. We are at this stage, we're busy heading off to Lesotho, but now I pick up my passport the day before and it's expired. So the birds got to go by themselves. It was freaking awesome. All right, cool. So, how was that for an experience? Okay, guys. So the reason why we just highlighting this now is that we are showing you basically the avenues that FPV can open up for you. Yeah, so that you guys can all get excited and go and get out there and chase supercars or something.
If that's what you want to do. Some prefer the hobby as just that, playing with my toys.
Yeah.
Others started this purely to go commercial. Others found the commercial side along the way, like us.
Okay, Ans, your experience, tell us about it.
I thought I already did that earlier, but yeah, no, it was awesome. As I say, like the only thing I struggled with was the timing, like because you only had one shot. You can't control it's like herding cats with those guys, you know.
Yeah.
They want to do their own thing, they want to go fast, and you like can't stop them to say, oh, you know, but they want the shots. So, yeah, that was the only thing I really struggled with. But other than that, yeah, no, it was super awesome. I got to drive in the Audi R8, which is my favorite out of all the Porsches and Lambos and Ferraris there. I liked the Audi R8 and got to go in up the Sani. No, it's not Sani Pass. Some Lesotho Pass. I don't know.
Yeah, full mountain pass.
Yeah, the full mountain pass in an Audi R8, going like, I think we went, the fastest around the corner was 150 k's, and like it's literally you on the pass, so on the side it's like a drop, and that guy, the wheels are like chee 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 around the corner, but I loved every second of it. Yeah, so yeah, from getting to experience that kind of thing, I'd never seen a supercar, let alone in real life, let alone been in one. So on a personal side, it was awesome. From a work perspective, yeah, it was.
That's fantastic. Let's talk tech. Let's talk tech. Let's go there. I mean, it was not obvious. You know, yeah, we are thinking our drones are flipping fast, and they can chase these cars, not a problem. I mean, I even made the boo-boo of comparing our drones to racing drones, and I was like, oh, yo, they can go like almost like 200 k's an hour. And I was like, really? I'm like, no.
Luckily, the roads didn't allow them to get up to 200 k's much. I will attest, we did cross the 200 kilometer barrier.
No, nobody, no.
But there's no, we didn't.
No.
Yes, we did. Now, when we went into this, we looked at our apexes, our 5 inches, and we went, there's no way that this is going to do it. We've spent 3 months now filming motocross bikes, which luckily the pace on the motocross track doesn't really exceed 70 k's an hour, 80 k's an hour. So they're perfect for that, but we quickly realized as soon as you strap a Euro 10 on, cut your battery life in half, the quad flies like an absolute donkey. So I figured if we're going to go mountain surfing and supercar chasing, we're going to struggle with the old batteries that we had. Luckily that sorted itself out 3-4 days before the shoot. So what did we decide? No, let's do 5.5 inch. So we got our hands on some Chris Rosser V2 frames, built everything across, got the proper motors, 2208, put the 5.5 inch 2.2 props, which is what he recommended, and we tested them at motocross racing, and I mean our eyes fell out of our heads. We were so blown away. I got my normal flight time back. I'm back up at the 5-minute cruising, using the same pack as I was on my Apex. I'm carrying the Euro 10. The quad feels like a regular 5 inch that's lightweight, so it hasn't got that heavy feel to it anymore. Speed wise, it was great. Absolutely great for the MX chasing. As soon as we got onto the supercar job, we realized those 2.2 pitch props, they weren't enough. Because also we had some altitude problems. So initially we decided, no, look, we're going to definitely get hands on some 3.5 inch, 5.5 inch prop, the 3.5 pitch. That'll definitely sort out the general speed issue. But on the Sutu day,
It kind of ate us.
so what we don't realize is what am I saying?
Salutu.
So in the Lesotho mountains, you add height, and that quite affects things quite a bit. So with a 2.5 inch prop, I went out for a flight. I was standing at the top of the pass, and my shot started at the bottom of the pass. And as I sort of finished up, trying to come back to myself, I turn the quad, I look up at the edge, and I put throttle, and I notice this quad, it's climbing, but it's like barely climbing. Problem. So thin air, low pitch props, you need to keep stuff like that in mind. So I barely made it back to myself on the edge of the cliff, so I don't have to dump the quad in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, but I just made it back to myself. It was crazy.
I'm trying to find your barrel roll. I had it here.
It's everywhere. So yeah, in terms of the job, we did 99.9% of everything flying on the 5.5 inches, running Euro 10s, and then we had 4K hand cam for everything else. We went for it. The sessions came out a little bit in the supercars and that. We wanted to keep the batteries fresh for the quads while we were out in the mountains. So there's really not much session footage, but they did do their job quite nicely with the real steady. Yeah, all the footage was real steady except for the 4K camera, static camera. Yeah, straightforward stuff.
Okay, let's find our start messages for today. I see here in the group, Rena posted a picture of the Avatar, the HD system, saying something about a 4 kilometer long range. That's a big question mark. Oh, really?
So yeah, range-wise, it's going to be fully comparable to the DJI system because I mean it's through and through been proven they're using the same chipset in the back, and that chipset defines the rest of the layout of the board and how the system comes together. So that whole system in the back end is going to work the same. That's why it's got the 4 antennas, why it looks like DJI, and why it feels like DJI, is because it's using the same back end chipset that DJI is buying to run their goal. As we've now learned, DJI doesn't patent the chip and they don't own the chip as much as they've been telling people. They're just buying it like anybody else. And we gobbled it up, yum yum yum. But in terms of range and that, you're going to expect it to perform like DJI, but you're also going to have a small expectation that it should do a little bit better because you've now got a more tight-knit FPV community programming with it as opposed to DJI managing the programming. So you've got those insights coming. So we're waiting for some test stuff to come out. The videos haven't been released. Apparently the international videos will release soon because they're going to ship soon. But yeah, it definitely is look like the new best, greatest thing.
So I had, there was I don't know who posted this one. There's a picture of a thing called a Venom H2O. I don't know if you've seen it. Did you see that?
Haven't.
It was part of the group chats a while back. It was posted in the Outlaws by, I don't know, I don't have a name next to his number.
Oh, that's the new little 6-motor quad by Flywoo that comes with a whole system pre-built in.
Yeah, it looks like a 6-motor.
Yeah.
It's got like this little camera and everything in it, 2-inch drone.
Yeah, so it's basically just a little hex quad that they've pre-built the system into, so it's no different than buying another pre-built system.
Yeah.
This is just nice because it's all pre-built in there for you, so as a pre-order you can get your hands on the hardware quickly. If I had the bucks, I'd buy this thing, ditch the quad just to take the
insides out.
The insides out. So I can get my big rigs up and running quicker, you know?
Yeah, like it.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to switch to this system once it's here and I can afford it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do the switch over because this will be one thing we know about Fat Shark is they don't release stuff often. So I know in 6 months there isn't going to be a version 13, you know. And that's what's put me off about the industry is there's too much change and each change puts the previous one almost out, and that's annoying for people who work on tight budgets.
I just want to double check the sound. Oh, okay, my sound was off. Are we good sound? We're good with sound, eh?
It has to be. No one turned it off. No one's complaining
Yeah,
yet.
no one's complaining yet.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Should be
Just
good.
double checking that, just making
So
sure.
Scratch asked how good is the Chris Rosser frame?
Yes, that's a good question.
I approached this thing having really appreciated what Chris Rosser is doing for the community, taking into account the technical effort. So I was expecting a good frame performance-wise, and it met that. But when this thing arrived, I said, well, let's see how this thing is to build, because we can all remember a certain Mr. Steele going off about it. But I took this thing out of the packet. I didn't need instructions. I couldn't find a build video, so I thought I'll make the build video because we're going to need a build video. But no jokes, 10 minutes later, that quad is together in my hands. I've never built something so easy. I've never felt something so stiff and rigid. When you look at it, it doesn't make sense. But then you go, this Oak's a technical engineer. He knows by putting this plate here and this screw here, it's going to be strong. Even though us numbnuts look at it and go, yeah, but this doesn't go across, so it can't be strong, because we know better. You know, Morse. And he's nailed it. That frame is so strong. You can't flex the arms. There's just space for days on the inside. He's thought about everything. It was the easiest quad I've ever built.
Yeah,
It's the most best performing quad I've ever built. Oh, what a beaut. I'm switching everything to Chris Rosser frames, finish and plow.
I'm still going to test between the Apex and the Chris Rosser 5-inch to see what I prefer. In terms of durability, you know, I don't like to change things too much. So when I do change things, I want to make sure that I'm changing for the long haul.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still want to test on the 5-inch side. Yeah.
Because the only thing I could honestly tell the main difference, if we ignore the performance factor between the Apex and the Chris Rossers, was Apex being around for so long, or Impulse RC being around for so long. They've built their frame around crashing. Things are hidden in the right place, etc., etc. And that's where the concerns for Chris Ross's frame came out. He's designed a stunning frame, and he says he's accounted for all types of crashes. But there is a camera in the front poking out, so if you fly square into a pole, you're going to smash that camera.
Yeah.
But then I go, my 5 years of flying, and who knows, 10,000 million times I've crashed and broken stuff. I'm yet to break a camera or a lens.
Yeah, because it's hiding though. In the apex, you're gonna hit your front of your frame first before you even touch the thing. Whereas that one, and I fly into things straight on all the time. So for me, it's a bit of a concern because I'm going out there knowing I'm crashing.
Yeah.
I'm not going out there trying to save my quad, because if I'm going to go fly and try and save my quad, I ain't going to have no progression.
Yeah, you're not going to get anywhere.
I'm not going to get anywhere. And
Right.
I put myself I've got a goal.
Yeah.
I want to be the best female freestyle pilot in the world, which is very possible, but I need to practice.
Yes,
And
but yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. And this is where we come back to talking about, as nomads, we're not that active on the Facebook groups, but on the WhatsApp groups. But on the 11th of this month, Rainer said, so many different styles, no one can do it all.
yeah.
So unfortunately, seeing that, so we got to choose the toy for the job.
Yes,
Simple as that.
like when I do a commercial shoot like the supercar, a different thinking hat goes on.
Yeah.
Using a different quad, everything's different. Freestyle, I use my freestyle quad because I'm not going to bash the shit out of that thing, But
So hands down, commercial Rosser frame.
yes.
It's just, don't even go there.
And Hero 10, I would,
The Hero 10 changed everything
It did.
for us as well. It just really opened up
went from
that
80s
selection. So,
80s looking, what you want to call like grainy.
That 4x3.
Yes, Went from the 80s to like full on Ultra HD kind of thing,
you can only zoom in a little bit, and then the grain comes out, and you're going to pay for more software to try and scale up again. So the
Yeah.
Hero 10 has just given us a real peace of mind. If you remember to charge the battery
Yes.
on the suit today. Let's not go there.
Okay, go. So VTX power versus frequency.
That was a question brought up. I think it was Takalani, or it could have been Rainer. It was a bit of a while ago. The question was basically, does using different frequencies in the VTX change the output power slightly? Does a certain frequency have a higher output? And the simple answer is no.
Simple.
Plain and simple.
So VTX.
VTX is going to put out X amount of power. That power is then modulated by the frequency. Why people experience different power levels, perhaps, at different frequencies is because of noise floor interference in your area. But if you went out into the mountains where there was no noise but your VTX and your goggles, every single frequency would operate the same in terms of the output power. You wouldn't see the range difference. But going into an RF noise environment, it can make a big difference because the power is there, but if it's getting cancelled out by opposing waves from a Wi-Fi system or a Wi-Fi antenna, you're only going to get half the range or a quarter of the range, depending on how powerful that system is cancelling out your frequency. So to keep it basic, that's it. VTX power is not affected by frequency. More your RF noise in the area is what causes it.
Okay, cool. Then the next question was about, I'll tell you now, multimeter. Save your motors from ... I didn't put that up there. It must be you.
Yeah, I put in a couple because as I try and scroll through the group to try and catch up, I try and see things where something is mentioned a couple of times, and something that started coming up is a lot of people are blowing a motor. After crashing, having blown a motor, they put on a new motor to check if it was the motor or the ESC, plug the quad in and cook another brand new motor. And that is so unnecessary because you can go to Builders, spend $200, buy a cheap multimeter. You're only looking for one function, the diode testing mode, which will beep when you short the leads. And all you want to do is put the negative lead on the negative terminal on where the LiPo comes in, and then you're going to touch each motor pad with the positive lead, and if one of them screams, the beeper, you stop right there. Your ESC is bugged.
Yeah.
And that's after removing the motor that it beeps.
It sounds like something Rainer would do.
So just simple things like that. If that's the only reason you get the multimeter, get it for that.
Yeah. Get that sorted out.
Yeah.
Lekker. I think this might have been mine. 5-inch versus 5.5-inch for chasing.
That's a general one for everyone to talk about. We touched on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
You got something you want to add? I had my rant, which was going to lead to the next one. I think if you expand that question, or should you just jump straight to 7-inch?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that. There's a what was that one called? It was I just saw it briefly. There was a new one that came out that's kind of balanced now between the 5-inch performance and the 7-inch range. It's a new thing that came out. I'm sorry, I can't think of it now. But yeah, 7-inch.
7-inch. Having done the job, having come back, I will go to the next one with a 7.
Yeah.
So
5.5 isn't even big enough.
For what we did with the supercars.
Yeah.
A 5.5 is good for the track.
Yeah, it's good for the track, close range.
Yeah.
Good cruise speed in a mid-level, 70 to 100 k's an hour, and that's sort of your limits. 7-inch is really going to take you out because again, you're sort of just getting comfortable at to where the guys are in the corners, and then my battery now I must turn around and fly back 2 k's. Even though I got my 2 k's out, just that time to come back. So it limits you quite a bit. So to still be limited was very annoying. And I know if we swap to 7-inch full powerhouse, we're looking at 10-minute flight times, which changes everything.
Yeah. Now you can sort of like follow them for longer and know you're going to get your shots.
You don't have to kill the machine.
you're not flying at full throttle.
Yes.
Basically all the time.
I mean, you heard that one. I was like, coming past. You could hear the quad over the supercar.
You can sit me. Okay, there's a shot. I can't find it now, but there's a shot of us, and this Porsche comes past. But all I hear is drone. I'm like, holy cow, that thing is loud.
Yeah, full throttle.
Well, we had the one Porsche driver. So he came to us after they got back. After we had it was the second day. Where they went into Clarence to do Golden Gate.
Yeah.
So through Golden Gate, there's one section where they go in between like a little valley, but it's not very deep. It's maybe about 6 or 7 meters worth of wall either side of the cars as they go through this turn. And every time they went through that turn, I would come in with the quad, basically crossing over the roof like that. Now maybe about a meter and a half above them. So these oaks initially thought the first time the quad approached, they start checking the car. They start looking for lights. They're pulling over. Something is going on here because every time they want to put their foot down, all they hear is wee. So they start stressing. Something's gone wrong with his car. Eventually, as the guy gets out, he sees the quad and goes, "No, it's just their thing."
The deuce doing their thing. Oh yeah. Okay, so now in a situation like this, lots of shaking and such. So let's session 5 and real steady. The pros and the cons.
Save up for that 10. So
Can't afford a 10.
So it's gonna work. It's gonna work, but it's desperate for a quad with an almost negligible noise vibration profile.
You've got to have a premium frame. Yeah.
Premium frame.
Yeah.
Premium motors that are fresh and new. There cannot be a tiny piece of metal missing from any motor. There cannot be a ding. There cannot be a scratched bearing. Nothing. If you rev those motors in the test and at any point they vibrate while your hand's on that quad, you've got to replace that motor. You've got to make sure your real steady mount has got enough dampening, not too much, not too little. And I can't tell you what that amount is until you've printed about 6 mounts for your own quad, varying those levels until you find what works. And then you'll go out and you'll proper touch a twig. You can't even see the damage, and then suddenly the footage is ruined. So it is critically dependent on that quad being pretty much perfect. Otherwise, it's just going to punish you in the output. Gyro flow helps you a bit more, where real steady will fail you, because you can't really adjust much in real steady in terms of how it reads the gyro. At least in gyro flow, it allows you to set a filter which ignores 99% of the noise from the gyro, and a lot of times that's actually worked. So you can sometimes still get around it, but yeah. Session 5, if you're willing to brave it, make sure you've got a 3D printer or a buddy with one, and you're going to spend some time getting that to work. Can be done.
Yeah, we
but
proved
it's really
it.
difficult.
I've got session 5 freestyle footage.
Yeah.
That worked out, but yeah, like I had to compromise and edit out where the real steady, where you try to fix some shakes, it fixed it, but then created shakes elsewhere. So it was like, oh, what do I do? So like I tried. It also makes editing a nightmare with the session and the real steady. I found, but I managed. Like if you go and look at my channel, you'll see there's some awesome freestyle videos I've put out that have the real steady working shananas, even on the wrong settings on the camera, and it still came out nice. So it's everything you saying right now. That quad, it's a premium built quad. So
that's an Apex frame with brand new, fresh, clean motors on, and that's what it took to get that real steady working. And then you're constantly flying with this fear in the back of your mind. Did I get this shot? Is it gonna steady right? Because we've been punished hard many times. Where we've gone out, shot the shot, come back, and the exact part that you wanted is the one where the vibration gets amplified and you just can't get rid of it.
Yeah, I had a bunch of jelly on mine. Great, that takes us to another thought. This is my own thought. PIDs. The other day you were explaining PIDs to us. I think that might be a cool thing to explain now, because I need to now look at my PIDs. I haven't a clue. I've been in this job now, in this hobby now for like, what, a year and a bit, and I still have not touched my PIDs. Everything I've ever flown is as it comes out of the box. Just right.
Default.
And then we ended up chasing, I don't know if you guys saw that one clip there where there's a bunch of gnu's and the jelly was ridiculous. How do we sort this out? What are PIDs and how do they work? Simple question.
There are channels on YouTube which have spent the last 5 years trying to explain PIDs and they still can't. So much so, it's the only thing Chris Rosser himself has not explained. He's explained everything around it because they've now managed to make Betaflight work so that you've got all these bars and things you can slide which change the PIDs, but you're not actually physically changing the PIDs. Now all the PIDs are is basically how that flight controller actually makes this mechanical thing respond based to what you're telling it and what you're not telling it. And those are the two things that's happening. The quad is trying to stay stable in an environment where you're not telling it to do anything and things are trying to make it do things. And then you're telling it to do something and then it must respond. And how it responds is how those PIDs are set up. And PIDs to a basic level is, if you think of your needle, like a needle and a point. This point is where I want to get this needle, and this needle can do this. What P is going to do is P is how hard I push to get to that point. The problem is P on its own is going to overshoot, and then it's going to fire back, and then it's going to get into this bounce until it gets to its point. D term, your derivative or your dampener, is designed to go, oh, okay, you want to hit that point, I need to stop you when you bounce. So now, with P and D, you'll come up to the point, and instead of bouncing, you'll come to a stop. R term is I'm on point, and I'm happy that I'm there. Now something comes and wants to push me away from that point, but my controller hasn't told me to move. Now I'm going to fight to stay in that position. Here's the tricky part. That's easy. You've got to find the relationship between your motors, frames, and PIDs for your own quad. And there's no two quads that are the same. Even if you build two identical quads, those PRs and Ds will not be the same because of tolerances and things. So the crux of it is to find what's called the PD balance. Every quad has a PD balance, a certain amount of P term, and it needs a certain ratio of D term. Once you find that balance, everything else is golden in terms of how high you can push it. Again, you're now affected with pushing P's and D's and R terms up makes the quad work harder. Now if you've got a bad frame, resonance, all those things get amplified. So that's where the whole premium thing is so critical, because it defines how much you could tune this quad. 90% of us are flying with 70-80% tunes. And there's a reason for that. I don't want a 100% tuned quad, because the moment I nick a prop, I'm going to burn a motor. Because the quad is not tuned for play.
You want that bit of play. Yeah.
And this was only really a thing that people needed to scientifically get down up until Hypersmooth and Real Steady was released. After that, nobody gave a damn anymore. You only fiddle with PIDs up until the quad flies nice for what you feel and how it responds, because it really is. It's more important for the quad to fly the way you want it to, then you look at a Mr. Steel and go, yeah, but his PIDs are that and his rates are that, it must feel like that. you're not going to learn anything, because a quad is how you want it to respond. If you realize it's responding too slow, you'll go and change the settings to speed that up.
Yeah.
So it's getting that interpersonal relationship. So in a KISS world, P and Ds are far more important than they are in a Betaflight world, because Betaflight does it all for you. There's just little sliders that you go push, push, push. Oh, look, motors are getting hot. Stop. In a KISS world, you've got to find that relationship, otherwise you run a slightly down-tuned tune, and the quad's happy. The only thing I get if I'm not careful is a tiny little bit of bounce back or a little bit of extra prop wash, but it's irrelevant. In commercial flying side, it's completely irrelevant. I don't induce those characteristics, and in freestyle, I enjoy them because it's a response for me. I don't need a perfect clean flyer. I'd rather smack that prop and fly the broken prop back than have to walk 200 meters to go and fetch it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to burn a motor. So that's, and yeah, why no one's gotten used to them is because Betaflight, every time they release a new version, the bits don't make sense again. You have to completely relearn the whole structure of how it can. There are guys that swear it's easy, but yet you can send them a message and they cannot log onto your system and come and type anything in to solve your problem. And that's what proves it's a personal adventure between you and your quad.
Yeah.
You just need to know enough to understand what these things are changing and what they are doing. And P is basically, if you push your stick in, and your rates are high and your quad is lazy to get to that point, you just don't have enough P. If you've got a lot of extra prop wash, your motors are ice cold, and your quad is bouncing here and there, and it's like you need more detour. Plain and simple, more dampening. The quad wants to be held at its point. Our term is if it's windy, or you find that you hit the throttle and the nose bobbles like this as you hit the throttle, that means you don't have enough R-turn. The quad's not trying hard enough to keep itself straight, so you just give it a bit more R-turn. But don't touch these things.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, like, what happens if you're just a bad pilot?
That's
if
why
you're
I
just
say,
like flying and like that. I mean, so trying to get that balance. Like, am I a bad pilot, or is it my PIDs that are screwed up?
my personal opinion is you shouldn't care about PIDs until you go pro.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to know what they mean, and then you're not going to understand what they do, and they're just going to
Mess up your
change the
flying.
way the quad feels.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel improvement or understand it. It's just the defaults are there, they're good enough.
Yeah.
Once you know why to change them, you'll go and change
Then
them.
you're going to change it.
Yeah.
So Scratch wants to know if you guys use dampening on your motors for the vibrations.
No. Straight bolt to the frame, because the thing is, as soon as you introduce dampening, it changes the frequency. Frequency is still there, it's just getting changed. A lot of the time it's being moved into a different spectrum. So now myself and Nerdbird fly KISS. KISS is predominantly known for, if you don't give it the exact frequency that's causing the issue, it starts doing other things.
It's like,
So that's
that didn't
why-
work, let's try this.
Yeah, so that's why you
A
find
little bit of AI going on there.
in the KISS community, hard mounts their flight controller. Hard mounts everything, and that's the best flying quad. Because if you can't hard mount, you've got more noise in your quad than you should have, even in a Betaflight world.
Yeah.
You should be able to hard mount, and your quad should fly beautifully. That's how you know you actually nailed the mechanical cleanliness. But Betaflight auto assumes a soft mount, and a lot of people undermount their flight controllers, and they introduce so many extra frequencies that just don't need to be there, because now the whole flight stack is wobbling and things are wobbling. But yeah, on the motor side, there's no soft mounting. It's never worked for us, and it's been shown to be it does nothing. The movement of the motor now on the frame, because if you're going to screw the motor down tight enough that the screws aren't going to come loose or the motors aren't going to fall off, what happens is the motor is not tight against the carbon, so the motor shifts on the carbon, and that introduces far more issues than you ever would have gained with that tiny little bit of resonance, you say. Then if you want the motor to work properly, you're going to screw it so tight the soft mount's going to do nothing anyway. So there's no point to the soft mount on the motor. Yeah, I've tried it, trust me, I've been there, and I swore by it for a couple of months, and then as time goes by you realize that no, it doesn't actually make a difference after replacing the motors how many umpteenth times, and then you start noticing no, it doesn't actually make a difference.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's about it then. Tomorrow there's a race day, so if you guys are into racing, head on over. We were supposed to have Rainer on today, but for some reason technically we can't get through to him, which is fine.
Next time.
Dude, we want to just like say good luck. Get out there, do your best. I mean, we can see on the groups, on the WhatsApp groups, that you guys have been practicing and going crazy. So, lacquer. And those gates of yours look shredded already. So.
No, it's good. It means you've been practicing.
Exactly. So I think it's going to be freaking awesome. So good luck with that one.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Barnstormers tomorrow. Head on over there. Go and support them. Get involved in the community. And thanks everybody for everything. I don't have anything else that particularly that I need to cover this week. Anything coming to mind before we say cheers to the Oaks?
No, well, we're just talking to ourselves right now, so I don't think there's going to be any other questions in the groups. As we chat to the guys, we get questions and we get ideas for what. Obviously, you know where to find us. Send us anything you'd like us to chat about. We really do want to...
Brandon, thanks for joining us.
Jumping in now. But yeah, anything you guys want us to chat about, please let us know. Any questions you want us to ask us. We definitely want to get the racing guys up on the live stream. Because that's something we have zero experience or any foot in. Not that we want to get in, and we just want to give you guys a medium to chat about, because we think it's very cool and exciting. A lot of you got into it very quickly and mobilized shit fast and took all our batteries.
Bastards.
Us freestylers were okay until you have to decide to.
But you guys are battery hungry, man. Like, I can't believe how many batteries are going out there. So Brandon, I see. Are you going to go and join them tomorrow at the race? Yeah, let us know in the comments. All right, guys. So that's it. For now. It's been a good day.
That's it. Thanks for pulling in.
Thanks, guys.
Missed out. You're welcome to obviously go and watch the stream.
Yeah, the replay. And we'll try and be back again in 2 weeks' time. Have an awesome week, and remember, just keep flying.
Enjoy.
Ciao.
Cheers.